everyone and welcome to our channel Biodiversity and Conservation by Ambika Prasad Research Foundation. So today we will talk on Orchids of Odisha part 16. So today we will talk about on the topic ecological aspects of orchid species. So before going to ecological aspect, we must know what are orchids. So orchids mainly belongs to the family Orchidaceae and it has a large and diverse group of flowering plants. Then what is the importance of orchid in ecological aspect? So first, the orchids it signify the health of the forest and also indicate the energetic and dynamic area of that particular um, forest areas. So orchids are mainly found in moist deciduous forest and sometimes semi-evergreen forest. So due to certain habitats, it also play a vital role to other species such as source of shelter, sometimes source of food. So it plays a significant role in many biota. Then comes the what is the importance of orchid in ecological aspect? Like in habitat, there are a varied habitat in orchid diversity. Like as you can see in this picture, first one is Sal associated forest areas. In Sal associated forest areas, some particular orchids are grow due to high altitude areas. So mainly you will see in this area Vanda testata, Vanda testacea, sometimes which one is that? Vanda terrace. So these particular orchids are mainly seen in this particular area. So some other habitats are also there like swamps, marshes, lands and meadows. So in swamp areas, many orchids that they receive direct sunlight and rain and it has no coverage in that. So mainly the orchid species are Spiranthes sinensis and Zeuxis dramatica. These two particular orchids are mainly found in swamp areas. Then comes the meadows. As you can know that meadows had that it also has a no coverage areas and it also mean receive direct sunlight and rain. So in that particular area the specific orchid such as Zeuxis dramatica, Eulophia dabia, Hebernariana comilinifolia. So this particular orchid will be found in meadows areas. Then comes the mangrove forest. So sometimes mangrove forest, uh, there also you will see some orchids, but it has some specific criteria such as no terrestrial orchid and sometimes epiphytic orchid is mainly found such as Acampa parmosa, Phenolopsis speciosa, then Vanda testata, then Area lesiopetala. So this particular orchid are found in mangrove forest. So sometimes there will be a question arise that why no terrestrial orchid and only epiphytic orchid. So due to the vegetation or due to the habitat in mangrove areas, so such as excessive water, so there is a very less chance of the terrestrial orchid species. So as you can I have told swamp areas, there orchid you will see. So whenever there is excess water during rain, such plants get submerged and perish. When the water level recedes sufficiently and the land on the edges is exposed, these species reappear, grow, flower, and complete their reproductive cycle before the end of the dry season. So, this is the whole thing about the habitat of orchid species. Now we will talk about what is the importance of orchid with other species. So orchid and pollinators. So pollinators play a vital role for the reproduction of the orchid species. So orchids have a relationship with pollinators and one type of pollinator can pollinate a specific orchid species. So the commonly orchid pollinators that we have seen: bees, wasps, ants, flies, moths, butterfly. So this particular uh, pollinator, it pollinate some particular uh, some specific type of particular orchid species. So in first picture you can see Habenaria species. So this Habenaria species is pollinated with bees. Then in the second you can see Vanda testacea. It is with a pollinator. It is also a one type of bees. So it has for that specific pollinator is responsible for it. Then you can also see the spider. Spider also it pollinates, and also it is one of the food sources of the spider, because spider they make their web onto the orchid species, and due to nectar collection, pollinator comes to that particular orchid, and for that spider capture that species and consume that. So it is also one of the food sources for them. Then comes the other relationships such as orchid and insect. So insect also depend on orchid for shelter and food. So as you can see in this picture, this particular insect, it is mean taking water content, because at the end of the root areas there is a velamen. Velamen is a spongy like structure. It contains it has a water content in that, so it will help the orchid. So in dry seasons, so it will not get dried out. So as you can see in this picture, this particular insect is taking the water content from that orchid. Then it has a relationship, orchid has a relationship with faunal species. So as I have told in other many of my videos, that in Vanda testata videos I have also mentioned over there that Indian giant squirrel consumed Vanda testata in summer time to cool down their body. So we have seen, as I have cited over it here. Then comes the importance of orchid with other biota. So other biota such as epiphytic orchid, it has a relationship between symbiotic relationship between bryophytes. Bryophytes such as mosses. So in ecological aspect, relationship between orchid and mosses are mainly seen in epiphytic orchid. So mainly the horticultures, they have experimented that growing orchid in mosses as a substrate to mimic the condition under which they grow in nature. So this is one of the important mean source factor as in nutrients and water factor for the orchid. So orchid need mosses to get nutrients from them, because they can't get nutrients from the host trees. So mainly they will depend on moss species. So as you can see over here, the mosses, it also provide the humidity to that particular orchid. Then in this life cycle you can clearly determine and clearly understand that first the seed is dispersed. After that, the germination through association with mycorrhizal fungi. Then the adulthood will be there, as you can see. Then after that it will comes to the flowering period. After that the fruit formation will be there. Then again it will comes under seed dispersal. So one of the thing is there, the seed are very tiny in structure, so it has a very numerous seed in one pod, one fruit. Then comes the uh, in ecological aspects as a orchid and mosses. So as I have told in previous slide that epiphytic orchid, It depends on bryophyte, such as terrestrial orchid is also depends on some bryophytes. So mosses, as you can see in this picture, this is one of the ground orchid, as the flowering is not seen it over here, but as per the leaf structure it seems to be Crepidium macannoni. So this particular orchid species, so it takes nutrient from the soil as well as from the mosses. So mosses is also play a vital role for the terrestrial orchid to gain their nutrition and water content from that particular species. Then another nutrients components for them is fungi. So orchid is also depend on fungi. So fungi such as lichen. So in many epiphytic orchid, this particular lichen is attached on the tree trunk, and from that you can see that orchid there will be a very specific orchid attached to it. So mainly we have seen in many forest areas, semi deciduous forest, there's this particular lichen is also an indicator of that particular area. So lichen also provide nutrients to the orchid. So one of the question will be many times arise as orchids are parasitic, because they see orchids are attached to the tree species. So but they don't see some minute details such as the mosses and the lichens are also attached to that particular orchid area. So that relationship is mainly called as commensalism. So commensalism is a symbiotic relationship where one organism receives benefits but the other is neither helped nor harmed. So mostly the epiphytic orchid that fall into this last category, so where the orchids will be benefited but the host trees will be not be affected, and in that particular uh, mm, mean area the mosses will be attached to the host trees area and the lichen will be also attached to that. So from that orchid takes their nutrients and survive in their periodic time. Then comes the what is the importance of orchid to mankind. So mankind, for that they is beneficial such as medicinal uses. So many orchid species have medicinal uses. So as I can here I will show like Vanda tessellata, Dendrobium formosum, Dendrobium herbaceum. So orchid possesses many medicinal uses which is cure many diseases, and due to varied distribution of habitats, orchid possesses many phytochemical compounds as per their habitat area. So for the epiphytic orchid it has a different medicinal value, and for the terrestrial orchid it has also some different medicinal value. So sometimes the epiphytic orchid the leaf part is consumed, and for the terrestrial orchid the leaf part and the bulbous as in the bulb part as in root, or the you can say the tuber part is consumed for treat many diseases. So here you can see in tribal communities they use some particular orchid to cure their common diseases such as stomach problem, fever, cold, wound. So this is one of the, as you can see, this is Bulbophyllum crucifix. These tribal people it consumed it raw to cure stomach problem. So apart from medicinal uses, it also has food values such as um, Bulbophyllum crucifix. The pseudopulp part is consumed as a mean food purposes, and the Peristylus lovely, the leaf part is also used as a mean food purposes. Mean it is also used as a leafy vegetables. So many orchids have food values specifically terrestrial orchid, used as a leafy vegetable, and sometimes the tuberous part is also consumed in their daily life. So mainly the terrestrial orchid are consumed as per compared to the epiphytic orchid for the food uses. So it has some religious aspects such as Rhencostylus retusa. So Rhencostylus retusa is popularly known as a foxtail orchid. It is also one of the most famous for its hair ornamental purposes. It is used by Assamese women during the folk dance of Bihu at the onset of the spring. So this is one the regional aspects of some orchid species, or you can say one orchid species that I have been collected from literature. So thank you for watching. Hope you will like this video. Keep subscribing to our channel and don't forget to click the bell icon. So you will get updates of the upcoming videos.